for the
In the future, AI is going to make that thing move.
That you were not.
All right, I'll do a quick overview here. This is Washington's office during the French and Indian War. There is some matter of controversy as to exactly how much time he actually spent in here, using it as his office. Behind me, this is a statue of young Washington from the late 1740s when he was out here doing surveying work. Where he had grown up largely on his brother's plantation, which we now know as Mount Vernon. This is his brother Lawrence had that. And the neighbors over there was Lord Fairfax's family. Now Lord Fairfax himself lived at Greenway Court, probably about 12, 15 miles southeast of Winchester. And lived the life of a hermit and recluse. And it was his nephew that kind of ran things. And he needed some surveying done out here and was organizing a surveying party. So Washington's older brother Lawrence taught him some of the rudimentary basics. He got some old surveying equipment. And young George Washington came out here with young George Fairfax, who was about 5 or 6 years older than Washington. And so he's with this group, and he's going to come out here and survey the northern Shenandoah Valley, well out into western what parts of western Maryland, West Virginia, West Maryland, Pennsylvania. And one thing about Washington, even at this young age, this guy's always looking, how do I make a buck? How do I get rich? This is one of the things about Washington. And he's going to pick up a lot of claims out in this territory when he's a surveyor and things. He's going to have about 5,000 acres over in Clark County, north of Berryville, along Bullskin Run. Some of these claims, he went out after the Revolutionary War had ended, and he's going to find squatters on them, and he's going to try to collect rents and evict them. But he's out here, he learns. This is his first taste at frontier life. His story, he was down south of town, about 5 miles in the area of what's now Kernstown, and one of his first nights out here. And he decides he's going to go stay in the tavern and go upstairs in one of the rough beds, the hotel at the time. And when he wakes up the next morning, he finds himself covered with lice and other creepy crawlies, and he determined then and there that going forward, he would sleep around the campfire rather than go up into one of the upper rooms of these taverns there. So Washington's is at a young age getting this introduction. He's like 17 years old or so.
Well, you soft pedaled those notes because he was a lot more vindictive.
Oh, I know. He goes into some more.
Not politically correct.
Yeah.
The idea Washington slept here probably is not true.
Yeah. And he was out by the campfire away from the insects. So it was here in this office too where he would have a lot of ideas for come up with the concept of Fort Loudon to the north here. One of the things is interesting, after Braddock's expedition, and he's in command of the Virginia Regiment at Winchester, except the Virginia Regiment, by and large, is up in Cumberland, Maryland, at Fort Cumberland, under the command of its Lieutenant Colonel Adam Stephen. And there's going to be one Christmas that Adam Stephen and the men are having a party around Christmas time, drinking and dancing and making merry in Cumberland, while Washington is here alone in Winchester. So I speculate on that Washington has a lot of issues throughout the French and Indian War because his commission from the beginning came from the governor, Dinwiddie. So he had a provincial governor's appointment to colonel of a Virginia regiment. Well, if he's around a captain who has a commission in the British Army, guess what? The colonel from Virginia is subservient to that captain. And that will happen a few times during the war with varying results. But one of the reasons why Washington spends a lot of time here and lets his lieutenant colonel lead the troops up in Cumberland, I believe, is because he didn't want to deal with the seniority issue of a Captain Dagworthy from Maryland who had a previous commission from the king in the Royal Army. Jim, do you have some stories you want to...
Well, you mentioned Adam Stephen at that Fort Cumberland. Adam Stephen was his lieutenant colonel. Douglas Southall Freeman, he wrote the biggest biography on George Washington in the 40s. He wrote, wherever Stephen went, trouble followed. But Lieutenant Colonel Adam Stephen was in a game of brag. This is the forerunner of poker. And this game of brag went bad. It went all the way up to the lieutenant governor to decide this game. And this was a game right after New Year's Eve. And they're there, and one of the guys had cheated. They found a card on the floor. So the game of brag almost, and the only reason why they didn't shoot each other is because they were officers of Virginia Regiment. If it had been anybody else, like privates, there would have been blood spilled.
Yeah, Adam Stephen, his home, he becomes a major general in the Revolutionary War under Washington. And it's interesting, in this area in the northern Shenandoah Valley around Martinsburg, Shepherdstown area, you've got an endogamy of disgraced Revolutionary War generals. You've got Adam Stephen, who got drunk during the Battle of Germantown, although there's some speculation Washington was moving him out to create a position for a young Lafayette. And then you have Charles Lee and Horatio Gates. Those three all live within a few miles of each other in what's now West Virginia up there. And the houses still stand. And the best one, though, is Adam Stephen's home. It's there, and it's operated by the local historical societies in excellent condition, and you can go visit that in Martinsburg. It's called the Adam Stephen House there. So,
well, after he's court-martialed, that Adam Stephen, he doesn't miss a beat. He doesn't get depressed or anything. He fights the court-martial, right? But he goes back here and he creates the town of Martinsburg. All right? Now, who does he name Martinsburg after? A passive loyalist in the heart of the Rev War. He's naming a town after a passive loyalist, Thomas Bryan Martin, nephew to Lord Fairfax. And that's what he does. This guy never missed a beat. He didn't quit. He kept running.
speaking of Lord Fairfax, how far are we from his grave? Is it
it's that way, isn't it?
Yeah, we would go back down that way.
Is that
at the end?
Is that the steeple?
It's another block down.
Okay.
Where the church is.
And why don't we think that's a good stop?
Yeah.
To make it, let's do that.
Yeah, Lord Fairfax has
So-
that in the story.
Question, where did Washington live when this was his office?
Well, we went by a stone building, and when we head back, I'll point it out to you. It's not a very old building. It's only from the 1790s, and it's a law office now, and it sits on the site of the building where Washington was staying.
Yeah, it
So
was
you didn't
called.
have a long commute.
Yeah,
Right.
no.